Hello and welcome to Walks and Pubs. This time I'm taking the train from Bournemouth to Dorchester South. In this first episode I'll be walking from Dorchester via Sutton Point to Weymouth. On the train journey I already got some amazing impressions of the area. It took me past Poole Harbour, which is indeed one of the biggest natural harbours in the world. Other beautiful stretches included this bit between Holton Heath and Wareham, and these two between Wareham and Wool. Let's just enjoy the journey for a moment. After I had arrived at Dorchester South Rail Station, I was greeted by the beautiful Brewery Square. It is named after the former Eldridge Pope Brewery, who had their headquarters there. Their former building is still standing. I then went on and passed by Antelope Walk, which leads to the pedestrianised shopping street of Dorchester. This statue of the poet William Barnes, as well as some beautiful buildings, can be found in Dorchester High West Street and High East Street. Shortly after I turned right into High Street, Fordington. After a while I arrived at Fordington St George's Church. Although Fordington now is a suburb of Dorchester, it has long been established as a village in its own right and, to this day, retains its own special character. It was also distinguished from the town by belonging to the Duchy of Cornwall. St George's Church is located at the heart of Fordington and is one of the most visible landmarks in the area. So come on, let's have a look inside. St George's Church, named after the patron saint of England, inside has a quantity of interesting features, for example a 15th century font and a 16th century pulpit. When I visited, it also had a spot commemorating Queen Elizabeth II. I figured that this must be the stained glass window by Sir Edward Burne-Jones, which is surmounted by angels designed by William Morris. Hopefully I'm right. The cemetery next to the church has graves of British soldiers of both World Wars and even the Crimean War. Something that is very rare in Britain is the German War Memorial. During my visit to the cemetery, I met a very friendly and helpful couple named Jasmine and Peter, who showed me where it is located. It remembers the German prisoners of war who were held in a prisoner of war camp in Dorchester during the First World War. 12 men of the more than 4,000 prisoners had died by mid-1918 and 33 more of them in the post-war influenza epidemic. The information sign at one of the entrances to the cemetery says, "This is the only memorial of its kind in the country. In its creation and in their treatment of the prisoners in the camp, the people of Dorchester showed a remarkable tolerance of the enemy in their midst." I completely agree with this statement. After my visit to the cemetery, I took a stroll through the village and then up Ellington Road. It had been rather cold first, but now it started to get warmer. After I arrived up on the hill at the roundabout near the original Thomas Hardy pub, which is now called Trumpet Major, the first sight I saw was this lovely decorated post box, as it was only 6 days until Easter. Anyway, the next thing I tried was go and see Max Gate. Max Gate is the house designed and lived in by Thomas Hardy. Unfortunately, when I arrived at the gate, there was a lady standing there who told me that Max Gate was closed for the day. I left her a business card of mine and will try another time. The house should be somewhere behind these walls. Bad luck with Max Gate today. Maybe next time. Unimpressed by this defeat, I would continue my journey into this direction. What followed was what I described as the muddy woods on that day. So I'm in the muddy woods now. Let's see where this takes me. Oh, that was quick. At the end of this short path, I discovered a not-so-muddy field. Up on the hill I encountered 2 equestrians who I believe I helped very much by opening and closing a gate for them. I later even met them again on their way back. So this is where I came from? And that's where I'm going. A few more steps and I could already see Came House, which I would pass by a bit later. To me, stopping or having a break is just as important as the walking. What a peaceful atmosphere here in Winterbourne Cane. The birds were greeting me with a full concert. And this is St. Peter's Church in Winterbourne Cane. It is a country squire's church that was built in the 14th and 15th centuries and was refurbished in Victorian times. I reached the Jubilee Trail after that and followed it for about 1.5 miles. The Jubilee Trail is a 90-mile walk across Dorset and was created by the Dorset Area Ramblers Association in 1995 to celebrate their 60th anniversary. Here are some impressions. The sun has come out, isn't that nice? I'm somewhere between Dorchester and Weymouth now. Now that was a very surprising remark of mine. A little later, I left the Jubilee Trail again and walked up this hill. In the background you get a glimpse of Dorchester. I then walked along gallops where horses are trained and through a small wood until I reached a small road where I was greeted with glorious views of Weymouth Bay. Amazing. When I took this chalky path that would lead me to Sutton Points, I discovered many of these artificial hills in the fields. I also saw these ruins, and I was told that these might possibly be the remnants of an old farmstead. So, if you know more about this, please let me know. The artificial hills that I mentioned before are actually barrows. Barrows are normally very ancient burial mounds, and many of them are thought to be more than 4,000 years old. There are more than 2,000 of them in Dorset out of the 30,000 in the whole of the UK. This area around Chalky Road near Weymouth is a part of the Cane Wood Bronze Age Barrow Cemetery, which includes the large tree-covered Culliford tree barrow. Another very interesting cemetery of that kind, not too far from here, is the one at Poor Lot near Winterbourne Abbas, which has at least 25 barrows, some of them of unusual kind. Barrows also play a role in the book The Return of the Native of Thomas Hardy, the renowned 19th and 20th century poet and novelist who spent a long time living in Dorchester and who I also mentioned before. One of the 3 rain barrows near Dorchester was used as a beacon to warn of invasion during the Napoleonic Wars. As you can see, there are many interesting facts to be discovered around these barrows, and I'd like to learn more about them soon. Still enjoying the nice views, I continued my walk, but got a little lost as I missed the right path which was supposed to take me to Sutton Points. I had only taken a leaflet with me that was giving me instructions on where to walk. I hadn't downloaded any GPS app though that would be able to help me in such a case. That would be something to consider for my next walk. I'd appreciate any recommendations. Luckily, I met a young woman called Abby with her 2 dogs, who took me back to the spot where I should have turned right. That was very helpful of her, and I thought it was nice to meet so many friendly people. And this is finally the path down to Sutton Points. Sutton Point is a beautiful village with a duck pond and the Springhead pub at its center. I sat down at one of the benches at the pond for some time, and to me it was the perfect place to relax, have a sandwich, watch the water and the ducks, and just enjoy the moment for a while. After this break, I continued my walk towards Weymouth. I then reached Preston and this holiday park and crossed through it. Following that, I got a little lost again, so I eventually decided to take the bus from Preston 7 Acres Road to the King's Statue in Weymouth, and then directly headed to beautiful Weymouth Beach. And then it was finally time to go on the last part of my journey, past the statue of King George III and Weymouth Harbour, to the Red Lion pub, where I would conclude this day's walk. The Red Lion is situated at Hope Square in the heart of Weymouth, only around 100 yards from the harbour. The first things I noticed about this pub were its beautiful large beer garden and lovely interior. After Sarah, the landlady, had given me a warm welcome, I sat down inside with a pint of pale ale. The Red Lion are an independent pub, which has historically been the alehouse of the Devonish Brewery, which is now closed. The pub is near the Weymouth RNLI lifeboat station, and is also frequented by the local lifeguards. At its walls, many photographs of RNLI rescuers and their actions can be seen. The Red Line also regularly donate to the local lifeboat crew. They do also regularly have live music and a wide selection of ales, rums and gins. Their website also features a 2.5-mile long pub walk and lots of other information. So, if you'd like to find out more, go to theredlineweymouth.co.uk. Thanks for watching. I'm hoping to see you again when I take my next walks and pubs journey. Bye bye and cheers!